When a country goes to war, most people picture soldiers, tanks, aircraft, and warships. They imagine battles, missiles, and front lines. But long before troops deploy, and long after headlines fade, intelligence services are already operating. In the United Kingdom, the Secret Intelligence Service, commonly known as MI6, plays a central role in how the country prepares for, navigates, and influences war. But what does MI6 actually do during wartime? How does it operate? What changes? What powers does it have? And how does it shape strategy without ever appearing on the battlefield? To understand this, we need to break wartime intelligence into three layers: intelligence collection, covert action, and strategic influence. First, intelligence collection. MI6 is the UK's Foreign Intelligence Service. Its core mission is to collect human intelligence overseas in order to protect national security and advance British interests. During war, that mission intensifies. MI6 officers operate from British embassies under diplomatic cover and from non-official cover positions around the world. Their job is to recruit and handle agents, people inside foreign governments, militaries, security services, research facilities, energy networks, and defense industries. In peacetime, this might mean long-term penetration of hostile states. In wartime, it becomes urgent and operational. MI6 seeks answers to critical questions. What are the adversary's military intentions? Where are their forces moving? What are their logistical weaknesses? What weapon systems are operational? What internal political fractures exist? Human sources can provide insights that satellites and signals interception cannot. They can reveal morale problems inside a military command. They can expose corruption in procurement chains. They can warn of planned offensives before they are launched. This human intelligence is fused with signals intelligence from GCHQ, imagery from defense assets, and analysis from defense intelligence within the Ministry of Defense. The result is strategic assessment delivered to the Prime Minister, the National Security Council, and senior military commanders. During war, MI6 officers may also be deployed closer to conflict zones. They can liaise with allied services, establish forward networks, and build relationships with resistance movements or opposition factions. But intelligence collection is only the first layer. The second layer is covert action. Covert action differs from intelligence collection. It is not just about knowing what is happening. It is about shaping events without overt military involvement. Under the Intelligence Services Act 1994, MI6 can be authorized by the Foreign Secretary to undertake operations that would otherwise be unlawful, provided they are necessary for national security and properly approved. In wartime, this can include support to allied groups, disruption operations, influence campaigns, and strategic sabotage conducted in coordination with partners. It is important to understand that MI6 does not operate independently like a rogue entity. Any significant covert action requires ministerial authorization. There are oversight structures, including the Intelligence and Security Committee of Parliament and the Investigatory Powers Commissioner, but within that legal framework, wartime authorizations can expand operational scope. For example, MI6 may provide intelligence, funding, equipment, or training to partner forces in a conflict region. It may assist in building networks inside hostile territory to destabilize enemy logistics. It may help coordinate with resistance groups. Historically, British intelligence has supported underground movements in occupied territories, run deception operations to mislead adversaries, and conducted strategic influence campaigns. In modern warfare, covert action can also include cyber coordination with GCHQ's offensive cyber capabilities. While GCHQ handles signals and cyber operations, MI6 provides the human networks and strategic targeting context that make those operations effective. The third layer is strategic influence. War is not only fought with weapons, it is fought with perception, alliances, and political leverage. MI6 plays a critical role in shaping diplomatic conditions around a conflict. During war, intelligence sharing becomes a strategic tool. The UK is part of the Five Eyes alliance alongside the United States, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. Intelligence cooperation intensifies during conflict. MI6 officers coordinate closely with the CIA and other allied services. Shared intelligence can shape sanctions policy, military aid decisions, and coalition strategy. If intelligence reveals an impending escalation, governments can act preemptively through diplomatic pressure or public attribution. Sometimes, selective declassification of intelligence is used strategically to shape global opinion. Revealing adversary plans before they are executed can deter action or rally international support. MI6 contributes to these assessments. There is also the question of liaison networks. Many countries rely on British intelligence relationships built over decades. During wartime, those relationships allow for rapid coordination, deconfliction, and shared operations. Now consider how this differs from MI5. MI5 is responsible for domestic security within the UK. During war, MI5 focuses on counter-espionage, sabotage prevention, and protection against internal threats. MI6 operates externally. However, the two services coordinate closely. If foreign hostile activity has domestic implications, for example, espionage networks operating inside the UK, MI6 intelligence feeds MI5 investigations. Wartime operations also require coordination with defense intelligence and special forces. MI6 does not command military units, but it may provide targeting intelligence or establish human networks that enable special operations missions. Another important factor is escalation management. Intelligence services are often used precisely because they provide options below the threshold of open warfare. Governments may prefer covert disruption over overt military strikes to avoid escalation. MI6 can operate in that gray zone. This might include identifying supply chain vulnerabilities, exposing corruption in adversary leadership circles, or influencing elite networks within hostile states. Modern war is hybrid. It blends conventional military action with cyber operations, economic pressure, disinformation, and proxy actors. MI6 operates across this hybrid spectrum. It builds human networks that map elite power structures. It identifies pressure points. It assesses the stability of regimes. It evaluates succession risks. It monitors nuclear command structures. It tracks proliferation concerns. During high-intensity conflict, intelligence timelines compress. Decisions must be made quickly. The demand for accurate intelligence increases, but intelligence is rarely perfect. MI6 assessments are probabilistic, not absolute. They rely on source validation, cross-referencing, and analytical judgment. Wartime pressure increases the risk of deception by adversaries. Double agents and misinformation become more common. Therefore, internal counterintelligence safeguards intensify. Operational security also becomes paramount. Protecting agents inside hostile states is significantly harder during war. Communications channels may be disrupted. Surveillance intensifies. Diplomatic expulsions increase. MI6 must adapt tradecraft accordingly. There is also the legal and political dimension. Even in wartime, MI6 remains accountable to ministers and subject to statutory frameworks. Authorizations must be documented. Oversight bodies continue to function. Public scrutiny may increase if operations become controversial. The line between covert action and political interference is carefully managed. Finally, there is the strategic objective. MI6 does not fight wars, it enables decision makers. Its purpose is to reduce uncertainty, expand options, and provide the UK government with strategic advantage. Sometimes that means preventing escalation. Sometimes it means enabling coalition operations. Sometimes it means shaping the post-war political landscape long before conflict ends. Because wars are not only about winning battles, they are about shaping outcomes, and that is where intelligence has its greatest impact. When you see headlines about troop deployments or military aid packages, remember that behind those decisions are layers of intelligence assessments, human sources, liaison agreements, and covert planning. MI6 operates in the shadows of war, not at the front line. But in many cases, what happens in those shadows determines what happens on the battlefield. That is how MI6 operates during war, through intelligence collection, covert action, strategic influence, and alliance coordination, shaping conflicts without ever formally declaring its presence. And in modern hybrid warfare, that role has never been more central. If you want to understand how power really works during war, you have to understand intelligence. Because before the first shot is fired, intelligence has already moved.